My dad never felt connected to the persona. He was dad when I saw him. Andre the Giant was huge, but his daughter is even bigger. How did she exceed the legend? What's her tale? Discover the astonishing facts about Andre the Giant's daughter and what makes her special. Born a giant. Andre the Giant was born in Coulommiers, France, a little hamlet 40 miles east of Paris, on May 19, 1946. His birth marked him as unusual. Andre was larger than typical at birth, weighing 13 pounds. His birth size was just the start of his amazing growth. Andre was raised in peaceful Moulins, an agricultural area. Moulin life was simple and hard. Farmers Boris and Marian Roussimoff raised Andre. They worked hard and lived cheaply to support their 5 children. Andre, the middle kid in a large family, stood out instantly. In contrast to his siblings, Andre grew rapidly each year. At 12, he was 6 feet 3 inches. He reached 6 feet 6 inches by 14. Nobody else in the family grew like this. Andre's height was suggested to be hereditary. His granddad was tall, although not as tall as Andre. His rapid growth was assumed to be genetic. Doctors didn't notice hormone concerns early on. Acromegaly was little understood, especially in rural regions. Andre's size was primarily unknown to others. Andre's early life was typical, notwithstanding his size. He attended village school like everyone else. He endured legend-making events in his early days. Andre's childhood story about Samuel Beckett is fascinating. Local resident Beckett, who knew Andre's father, often drove Andre to school in his vehicle. Andre was too big for the school bus, but Beckett suggested a solution. They rode in solitude or chatted. Despite becoming global famous to Andre, Beckett was merely a good neighbor who offered him a lift. Andre's childhood ended quickly. His family struggled financially, and farm demands were rising. At 14, Andre's father pulled him out of school to work on the farm. Andre accepted the adjustment without protest, but it changed his life. Last bit of regular childhood lost. From then on, he worked hard. Because of his stature and power, Andre could do the labor of several men. He assisted the family through hard times, but at great expense. He missed being a teen. Though life was hard, Andre never lost his humor or gentleness. The Moulins people called him a gentle giant. He was noted for his kind smile and manners. Village kids weren't terrified of him. He was revered by adults. He possessed a gentle magnetism that drew people in even then. After entering professional wrestling, this became one of his biggest assets. Andre's fast development continued through his teens, and the explanation became evident. After being diagnosed with acromegaly, a rare growth hormone overproduction disorder, the illness impacted his hands, feet, and face bones. No one knew what was happening then. He kept expanding, and onlookers marveled at his size. He lived with his size 22 shoes and customized furnishings as a teenager, never letting his disabilities affect his good attitude. Andre's youth was about struggle, sacrifice, and unexpected fame. Andre recognized life on the family farm in Moulins wasn't enough at age 17. He had spent years farming, aiding his parents, and doing hard physical labor. Andre was bored inside. He understood his differences went beyond size. He desired excitement, opportunity, and possibly adventure in life. With determination and little else, he left the countryside for Paris. Paris, in the early 1960s, was quite different than Moulins. It was louder, bigger, and full of new experiences. Andre worked numerous occupations to survive. Due to his strength, he moved big furniture easily. People noticed his huge stature also. A local wrestling promoter heard about it. The promoter spotted Andre's potential immediately. His existence, not merely build. Andre was tall, muscular, and memorable. He could star with instruction. Andre attempted wrestling. It started small and local. He wrestled in modest French venues as Jean Ferret, after a French folk hero. Though advertised as the gentle giant, his kindness and power impressed fans. His early matches taught him wrestling basics, how to move in the ring, convey a story through performance, and engage the audience. He soon outgrew the local scene. Foreign promoters heard about the tall Frenchman. Andre was soon invited to wrestle in Quebec, Canada, where the audience preferred more passionate characters. There, he became Monster Roussimoff. The new moniker was supposed to threaten and draw attention. When he started wrestling in Japan, his size captivated everyone. Even in a wrestling-loving culture, he stood out immediately. But Andre's biggest breakthrough came in the early 1970s when Vincent McMahon Sr., the WWF's head, noticed him. Andre was extraordinary, but McMahon knew that being huge wasn't enough. Wrestling required a memorable persona. McMahon renamed him Andre the Giant. Name change was simply part of strategy. McMahon's clever move impacted Andre's career forever. He gave Andre extraordinary appeal. Andre would not wrestle weekly in one city. He was a special occasion. McMahon limited Andre's appearances, so his presence was significant. This boosted Andre the Giant's fame. Because he always appeared on big occasions, fans never got bored of him. Andre wrestled 340 matches a year worldwide. He traveled frequently between countries and cities. His wrestling career took him to Japan, Australia, Canada, and the U.S. Andre wrestled so often in a year, he rarely rested. It exhausted me psychologically and physically. He continued going because he liked performing and knew he could make wrestling greater than before. Promoters helped Andre succeed. Being undefeated for years was a highlight of his career. Not totally true. He lost matches, but promoters cultivated the myth. It convinced fans Andre was unbeatable. This enhanced his aura and made each match more intense. People thought he was unstoppable in a wrestling ring. Naturally, being so enormous presented complications. Andre struggled in vehicles, aircraft, and hotels. Just eating in public could be problematic. People stared, asked questions, and made harsh remarks. Public places made him uncomfortable. Constant travel and acromegaly harmed his health. The cause of his size. His back, knees, and joints hurt, but he rarely showed it. The Princess Bride. Andre the Giant was a wrestling legend by the mid-1980s, but his renown was about to grow on the big screen. That chance came with The Princess Bride, a fairy tale adventure with humor, love, and sword fighting. Writer William Goldman and filmmaker Rob Reiner wanted a certain actor to play Fezzik, the gentle giant. The person was Andre. Goldman had Andre in mind when writing Fezzik. He thought Fezzik was huge, strong, kind, amusing, and lovable. Andre felt like the perfect real-life match to Goldman. Rob Reiner concurred. He thought Andre could add something unique to the film that no professional actor could. Authenticity and appeal from being distinct. It wasn't easy to cast Andre. Language was an issue first. Reading a movie script was different from remembering wrestling lines or interviews for Andre, who didn't speak English. Andre had trouble pronouncing some words during tryouts and early rehearsals. He worried about making a mistake or being misinterpreted. Reiner and the crew still trusted him. He was painstakingly guided through his lines, sometimes repeated until they felt natural. Fezzik's strong voice and accent made him special. Then came physical challenges. Andre's body was already stressed. Years of wrestling, travel, and acromegaly created severe back discomfort. His mobility had deteriorated. Bending or standing too long hurt. When the script required Fezzik to catch Princess Buttercup falling, the crew used a covert rig. Andre appeared to catch her easily, but special effects and support cables helped him avoid injury. Other changes were made. Andre is too big for conventional horses, but Fezzik rides one in one scene. The crew had to custom rig the saddle and direct the horse to ensure balance. Andre's girth was important to the tale, but it made filming harder than intended. Despite these challenges, Andre gave the part his best. Fezzik played the giant with a large heart, Goldman, and Reiner imagined on screen. The way Andre spoke was adored. Notably, the lovely and hilarious rhymes with his accomplice, Inigo Montoya. Fans loved his catchphrases like, "Anybody want a peanut?" Fezzik was kind, strong, and hilarious. The audience instantly bonded with Andre, who was warm in every scene. The Princess Bride was a 1987 success. People weren't just wrestling fans anymore. All ages saw Andre's other side. Many met him through this film, not simply a ring giant anymore. This movie star has heart. The role made Andre very proud. He brought a Princess Bride VHS film everywhere. Friend and co-workers stated he often showed it off, pleased of his work. The part was his favorite outside of wrestling. It was more than acting for Andre. It showed he could exceed expectations. WrestleMania 3. By 1987, Andre the Giant was more than a wrestler. He was famous worldwide. That year, something greater happened. His match was one of the most significant and talked about in professional wrestling history. WrestleMania 3. Andre vs. Hulk. This was no ordinary match. A duel between two legends was carefully staged. Andre was touted as unstoppable for 15 years. That streak's veracity didn't matter. Fans believed. Against him was Hulk Hogan, the emerging American hero and WWF face. Hogan was strong, loud, and energetic. He was everything 1980s kids loved. World Wrestling Federation President Vince McMahon recognized that combining these two titans would create an unforgettable moment. WrestleMania 3 took place at Michigan's Pontiac Silverdome on March 29, 1987. The stadium was one of the largest wrestling crowds ever with 93,000 people. Home viewers numbered millions. Event marketing focused on one theme. Could Hogan beat Andre? Behind the scenes, things were less perfect. Andre was fast deteriorating. Years of wrestling, travel, and acromegaly, a hormonal disease that caused his excessive development, had taken their toll. His back was worse by 1987. Pain made walking difficult. Standing for lengthy periods hurts. Even entering the ring was hard. But Andre persisted. He continued the match despite pain. To cope, Andre took painkillers. He reportedly suffered during the event, but he never showed it to supporters. He knew the moment went beyond wrestling, a turning point. Andre's ring career was ending. Hogan became as wrestling's face. Through this match, the torch was passed physically and symbolically. Not a long technical battle, but it didn't need to be. Told a story. Andre dominated early, wearing down Hogan with his size. Hogan was loudly supported by the audience. Every blow and move heightened tension. Then history was formed. Hogan pounded Andre to the mat in front of thousands of screaming fans. A maneuver nobody thought possible. Andre weighed nearly 500 pounds, and Hogan had never lifted that much in front of that many people. After the body slam, Hogan's leg drop clinched the win. Hogan pinned Andre, igniting the crowd. Today's highlight clips show that moment. One of wrestling's most memorable moments. It was unforgettable for fans. Andre thought it was the perfect opportunity to give back to the business he helped develop. He let Hogan win. Andre was backing wrestling's future, despite losing his stardom. Hogan has always respected Andre privately. He often mentioned he was worried before the match and didn't think Andre would let him win. As a professional, Andre gave Hogan the spotlight without hesitation. He understood business needs. In that moment, Andre helped launch a new wrestling era and cemented his fame. Andre wrestled for a few years after WrestleMania 3, but his physique deteriorated. Still, that match was his career high. The moment Andre became more than a wrestler, American pop culture included him. People who didn't watch wrestling knew Andre the Giant. His appearance, size, and friendliness were known worldwide. Final years and death. Andre the Giant's body began to show the effects of life and wrestling over time. After impressing the world with his stature and strength, he now suffered from chronic agony. Every movement became harder as his health declined. Andre's movement was notably limited in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Standing was painful due to his significant back issues. Walking became painful and slow. He avoided flying when he could, since the tiny seats were uncomfortable. Acromegaly, the hormonal abnormality that produced his excessive growth, worsened his condition. He had heart disease, joint deterioration, and enlarged bones and organs due to this illness. As public appearances and wrestling bouts slowed, Andre spent more time at his Ellerbay, North Carolina ranch. He found solitude on the ranch, away from cameras, commotion, and travel. He raised horses and enjoyed country life at peace. It became his refuge. Andre Rene Roussimoff could relax from being Andre the Giant and be himself there. Andre's health issues persisted in private. All kinds of supports helped him move. His friends knew he suffered, but he rarely spoke about it. Friends stated he still laughed, grinned, and joked. Behind it all, he was exhausted. He needed help getting out of bed after wrestling 300 times a year. Andre returned to France in January 1993 for his father Boris Roussimoff's funeral. In Paris, Andre died of congestive heart failure while sleeping. His age was 46. Despite his suffering, he died gently. No cameras or interviews, just silence. A giant fell in a hotel room, not the ring. His death rocked wrestling. Wrestlers, promoters, and fans grieved. Hulk Hogan, Vince McMahon, and others described Andre's strength, friendliness, and humor. Though Andre kept a quiet profile in his final years, his influence never faded. They lost someone special, the industry knew. Andre was more than a wrestler. He embodied wrestling, particularly in the 1970s and 1980s. His massive stature made cremation difficult. Andre's size was too much for regular cremation. After making arrangements, his ashes were strewn on his North Carolina ranch, his favorite place and home. There was no lavish funeral or tribute. That was Andre's wish. No huge event or media attention was his goal. The Giant Man wished to die quietly. Fame and fatherhood. Despite his celebrity, Andre the Giant's fatherhood was tough. Few glimpsed Andre's personal life behind the cameras and wrestling spotlight. An emotional and complex component of his private life was his connection with John Christensen and their daughter, Robin Christensen Roussimoff. Andre met John Christensen in the early 1970s. John was more than a model. She also did wrestling PR. She was almost 6 feet 4 inches tall, which attracted attention while with Andre. They looked remarkable together. Their extended connection led many to believe they were married, although they were not. Their relationship was sporadic for years, around 1972 to 1980. They typically kept things private from the media. John had Robin Christensen Roussimoff in 1979. Andre's only kid was Robin. Her birth should have been a big deal for Andre, but life didn't. Andre acknowledged Robin as his daughter, but their relationship was limited. Only 5 times in her life did Robin see her father. Andre and Robin never became close for several reasons. First, Andre's itinerary. As a world-famous wrestler, he traveled frequently. Sometimes he wrestled over 300 contests, moving between nations every few days. He had little time to relax or spend with his daughter. Phone calls were unusual. Meetings in person were nearly impossible. But the gap was emotional as well as physical. Andre lived like a myth. Most people saw him as the gigantic, not just a man. This public image made it hard for him to have a normal personal life. Andre may have struggled to adjust to fatherhood from global stardom. He loved Robin, but didn't know how to be a father according to friends. He may have felt shame, bewilderment, or dread, which he rarely discussed. Also affected the outcome. She reared Robin alone in the U.S. after giving birth. John intended to keep Robin out of the spotlight. She wants her daughter to grow up in a peaceful, regular atmosphere away from wrestling. Robin was shielded from the public, but she was further from Andre. Their meetings were brief and unpleasant, leaving little time to bond. Andre's death was the saddest part. Andre died in Paris in January 1993 while attending his father's funeral. Robin learned from Andre's lawyer a month later, not relatives or friends. Delayed news made the loss worse. He was gone after hardly knowing her. Nobody said goodbye or spoke last. Shadowing the Giants. Her mother, John Christensen, raised Robin in the U.S. While working in wrestling PR, Jean met Andre. Andre was drawn to her since they were both tall, over 6 or 4 feet. Their union was never legally acknowledged. By the time Robin was born, they were drifting apart. Robin grew up with privacy and curiosity. People knew she was Andre's daughter, which occasionally brought unwanted attention. Her mother sought to keep her private and give her a normal upbringing within the circumstances. In later years, Robin has discussed the unusual mix of being connected to someone so renowned but feeling far from him. Robin got several physical qualities from her father. She stands out like her father because she is tall and muscular. She is also recognized for her independence and strength. Andre began wrestling in his teens and became an international celebrity, while Robin chose her own path, which wasn't always in the spotlight. Robin considered wrestling. Many fans and promoters were curious about her abilities given her heritage and appearance. She practiced and tried wrestling, but it didn't work out. It wasn't comfortable. She has remarked in interviews that she admires her father, but didn't want to fight like him. Robin now concentrates on cinema, art, and storytelling, notably her father's true tale. She collaborated with documentary filmmakers to deepen and authenticate the Andre the Giant tale. She worked on Andre the Giant, Closer to Heaven, a 2015 documentary, and HBO's Andre the Giant, which introduced new fans to Andre's life. Robin was his daughter and legacy keeper in these undertakings. She made sure the documentaries featured the performer and the mythmaker. She encouraged honest storytelling, including his health issues, loneliness, and isolation from being so different from others. Robin needed these truths to comprehend Andre. Today, Robin lives quietly in Seattle. She's not famous and chooses her appearances carefully. She frequently speaks to honor her father or participate in something she believes in. She attends fan gatherings and interviews on her own time. Hit the bell, like, and subscribe if you like this video to not miss the next one.